What is up guys, 5K over here, and this is a brand new episode in the whole car game series. So in the last episode we looked at how you could create a color selection scene and a car selection scene and implement the whole data into the main game. So if you haven't checked that out already, please do check them out. I'll leave a link in the description below. Anyway, so this is where we had left off. We had the whole cars put into the game and we had a car selection menu through which we selected the car and color and implemented the whole into the game using a data implementer. So anyways, the first thing we need to do is we need to add a rigid body into the car, because as you can see, as of now the car won't move. Now before we do anything, let's just quickly disable data implementer and level loader, because both of them use data from the previous scene and that would create a problem whenever we clicked on play. Now let's try clicking on play, and this is where we were right now. So the car won't move. We just had this car over here looking like looking like nothing. I can't come up with anything right now. Anyways, so to make the car actually fall down according to gravity, you need the rigid body component. So to add that, click on the car. Let's just rename this to car. Click on the car, add a component and physics, then you add the rigid body component. Now let's assign the mass to something like 1000 and put the drag to something like 0.05, and we'll leave the rest of them just like that. We don't really need to care about them. Now what we'll do is we'll add a wheel collider to the car. So as you can see right now, if we click on play, the car falls down, but if you look at the wheel, the wheel kind of goes into the ground, and we don't need that. And why that happens is because we don't have a wheel collider as of yet. Now the wheel collider is what's going to make the car move and turn and basically do everything a car does. So not everything. Okay, so anyways, to add a wheel collider, first let's select all of these car wheel meshes and we'll add them into a game object. So let's create a game object and we'll put it inside of here, and we'll call this something like wheel mesh. Now let's move all of these meshes into the wheel mesh game object. So there it is. Now a thing you have to notice over here is that if you double click on the wheel, the front left wheel, you find that the pivot of this wheel, you select pivot over here, and if it is in the center of the wheel, you don't have to look about anything else. But in some cases, like in the 458, let me quickly disable R8 and enable 458. So as you can see in the 458, the pivot of the front left wheel was actually in the center of the car and not in the center of the wheel. Now in case anything like that was to happen, what you have to do is you have to double click on the mesh, click on create empty game object, and drag this inside the wheel mesh game object, and now you call this FL or whichever wheel that is you want to replace. And now if you click on FL, you'll find that the pivot has been centered to the center of the wheel. So that should fix up everything. The problem is if you don't do that, when the wheel of the car rotates, it will rotate kind of like this, which is very not carish. Okay, that was stupid. Anyways, so let's get back to the R8. The 458 in SLS has been already, I've already added the whole wheel collider and stuff to 458 SLS. Now we'll just look at the R8 for now. So now that we've added all our wheel meshes into this wheel mesh game object, what we'll do is we'll duplicate this wheel mesh. Now why did we do that? Because we need colliders. So we'll call this wheel call, and we'll select all of these wheels inside, and we'll remove their mesh renderer components. Now we've got 4 game objects with nothing in them. So now what we'll do is we'll add the PhysX component, which is the wheel collider component, to it, and right now the wheel kind of does not match the size of our wheel, nor is it centered. So what we'll do for that is we'll increase the y axis, we'll kind of move this up in the y axis. So let's click. Okay, so here we have another problem. When I move it in the y axis, the wheel collider moves in the x axis. Now why is that happening? Because we have -90 in the x axis. So now -90 rotation in the x axis. Now what we'll do is we'll select all of these wheels and zero it out. Now that should do it. Now what we'll do is we'll center it by increasing the y-axis, increasing the value of the y to about 1.15. Now that has centered the whole wheel collider, and now the problem is that the radius is way too big. So we'll decrease the radius of the wheel from over here. Let's put something like 0.4, and that is perfect. So another thing we have to notice over here is the springs. Now the mass of our car is 1000, so the spring should be about 10 times the mass of our car, so that will be like 10,000. And let's keep the damper like that. And also the stiffness, let's decrease the stiffness a bit, because too much stiff can cause a bit problems here and there, especially when you drift and stuff. So now what we'll do is we'll copy this component and paste the values to all the other wheels there. So now everything looks good. Now what we had to do is we had to add the main script to the car. So the main script is called the basic ways control. So there's another vehicle control script which is a bit more advanced than this one. So that script includes the whole ignition and manual and automatic transmission selections and stuff. So for now we'll look at basic vehicle controls basic script, but I'll add the link to the more advanced one in the description, so you can check it out if you want. So let's add the basic vehicle control script now, and if you open this you'll see that it has a lot of variables. So I'll explain some of these. So what we do here is we do not assign any of the colliders, but rather we find the vehicle colliders. So that is an important thing you should remember, because the name of the wheel collider should match with the name here. So as of now it does not match, because as you can see it says FL here and FL.col here. So let's add an FL.col to each of these. Now if you want to rename this to something else, please do remember to change the name over here too, because if you don't do that your car will not move at all and it will generate a lot of errors. So now that we've assigned our wheel colliders through the script, what we do is we find the center of mass of the game object and we assign it that. Just find the center of mass, we are using the collider of the car, which is over here. Now if you don't have a collider like this, you can also assign the collider directly onto the car by using a box collider component, but I'm using it this way so that I can also find the center of mass of the car through the collider. So that's what we do here, and we assign the center of mass to the whole game object. So why do we do this? Well, this is to ensure that the car does not flip over while we turn. So if the center of mass is not correct, then your car has a high chance of flipping over. Then we have the whole acceleration and steering. So I'm assuming that you know a bit about coding in Unity 3D. In case you don't, please do learn a bit. You always use the Unity website. I learned through the Unity website. It's kind of simple. Also you can check out other YouTube tutorials. So here the script is kind of a basic thing. You just take the motor torque of the rear wheels and you assign the value of torque times input.getAxis vertical. So now once you do this, when you press the up button, the car will go forward, and when you press the down button, the car will go backwards. And you do the same with the steering. So you take the steer angles of the front wheels and you assign the value of steer angle times input.getAxis horizontal. Now when you press the right key, the car will go towards right, and when you press the left key, the car will go towards the left. Now there is another way of doing this, which is by using an if statement, but this is much more easier when compared to that. Also, we are using an if statement over here to ensure that the current speed of the car does not exceed the maximum speed, and that the current speed of the car does not exceed the maximum reverse speed possible for it. And we also have this engine RPM thing, where the engine RPM should not exceed the gear RPM, and in case it does exceed the gear up RPM, what it does is it shifts the gear forward, and in case the engine RPM is less than the gear down RPM, it shifts the gear backwards. Also, we have this handbrake setup. So if you press the spacebar, then the handbrake functions is called, and what the handbrake function does is it applies brake torque to all of this. Now you don't need a whole function just for these four, so I think I'm just gonna leave it like that. But actually you don't need a whole another function for something as small as this. I don't know why I created this. So anyways, back to the game. Now that we've assigned our script, we need to assign the values. Brake horsepower, we'll put something like 500. Torque, you don't need to put the torque, the script finds the torque by itself. Brake torque, you put something like 400. No, not 400, that's a bit too much. 250. Now in the gear ratios, we put like 5 gears for now, and for the first one we'll put a value of 2.4, second one we'll put 2, third one 1.5, 0.9, and 0.4, 0.35. We'll do like that. And you don't have to assign any of these are all found out by the script, and current speed is calculated. Now maximum speed can be something like 350, and maximum reverse speed should be negative, and I usually put 40, so let's keep it like that. Steer angle should be 2, and engine RPM the script finds out it on its own, but steer angle is 2. Okay, so steer angle also the script assigns by itself, you don't need to assign it. I kind of did this thing where if the speed is lesser than 100, then you can steer more, but if it is greater than 100, then the amount of steer you can do kind of decreases to 2, so that the car does not flip over. And engine RPM also the script finds out. Gear up RPM will assign something like 1000, and gear down RPM 200. Alright, let's assign 300. That should do it. Now let's try clicking on play and see if the car runs. And there you go, as you can see the car runs. But if you look over here, you find that the wheels are not rotating. Now why does that happen? Well, that is because we haven't actually assigned the suspension script to the wheels. Now the suspension script, let me just quickly take you over the suspension script. Now what the suspension script does is it gives the whole wheels a movement according to the kind of terrain it is going through. So if you're going over a speed breaker, then the wheels would actually move up and down. And apart from that, it also rotates the wheels accordingly. So if the wheel is going forward, then it rotates the wheels forward, and if the front wheels are turning, then it turns the front wheel meshes along with it. So we'll add the suspension script to the wheel meshes, I mean, we don't add it to the wheel mesh, we add it to the wheel call. So let's add the suspension script. So another cool thing is I've made this script in such a way that it finds out what wheel it is. So if the current game object's name is fl.co, it knows that it is the front left wheel and assigns the mesh of the front left wheel to the script. So now if you click on play, okay, that is something we have to fix, but the wheel rotates, which is a good thing, and it moves up and down according to the suspension. And okay, that should do it, but we have found out a problem, which is that these two wheels kind of turn over. Now that is a bit of a problem, and the only way I found to fix this is by creating another game object called this fr, and we'll call this mesh. Put mesh inside of fr and do the same thing with rr. So okay, that's not what we wanted. Call this mesh, call this rr, put it inside of rr, and what we'll do is we'll give this a rotation of 180 degree. Now if you click on play, let's see what happens. Okay, it hasn't changed. Try doing a 180 rot again, and there it is. Now the wheels have correctly aligned itself and everything works smoothly. But another problem now is that the car kind of rotates a bit too much. I mean, not rotate, but the suspensions go up and down a bit too much. And what happens now is if you brake, the car has a chance of, flipping over. So now to stop that, what we do is we add a anti-roll bar. Now most cars in real life have an anti-roll bar, and the NVIDIA PhysX engine, which is used by Unity to simulate physics, does exactly the same thing as it would happen in real life. So what's wrong is that since most of the real cars have an anti-roll bar and the car in our game does not, it stimulates the whole physics in such a way that the result that we get, that is the whole car turning by itself, is what would happen if there was actually no anti-roll bar in the real cars. So what we need to do is, okay, I know that sounded a bit of messed up. I mean, the whole explanation was stupid, but bear with me for a while. So anyways, what we'll do is we'll add the anti-roll bar script. So the anti-roll bar script was found in this website. Okay, there it is. So this is in the Eddie's tutorial, I guess. Yeah, it's by Eddie. So this script works perfectly, and what I've changed a bit about the whole script is that rather than assigning the wheel colliders just like we did in the other script, now we find the wheel collider, and what you do is you assign this script to the car. You need to assign two of these. One is for the front left wheel and front right wheel, and one is for the rear left wheel and rear right wheel. So you just add the name of these wheels over here, name of the wheel mesh over here, and the script will find the wheel collider by itself. Now if we test this out, okay, so I guess the script is compiling. Let's wait to compile. Okay, so it's taking a bit of longer than usual. I hope this does not crash because I'm too tired to do this all over again. Okay, come on now, don't crash please. Oh, good, there it is. There is no wheel collider attached to the... Okay, so what we did was we needed to add the wheel collider's name. I kind of added the wheel meshes name. Now that is wrong. We needed to assign the, yeah, that's what I've done here. Okay, so we need to assign the wheel colliders name. I thought I did this a long time ago, something like a year ago, so I don't remember how I coded this script, but let's find out. Okay, now it works. So now if you see, the whole suspension is a bit more better. It does not rotate as much, but what it does now is skid, which is good. I think I like cars that drift, but as you can see, the car is working perfectly fine now. We also add a wing script to it, which is a spoiler script, which adds the whole downforce to the car so that the car does not behave weirdly. Now this can be found over here. I'll put a link to both of these websites down in the description below. Now just copy the whole thing. I'll also add the script, but in case you need to refer. So I think we'll put this as 1. I'm not sure if we need to assign anything to that, but we'll just put it 1, because 1 seems more better. I would have put 1,000, but I'm not sure if that's exactly how it works. Okay, so the car works perfectly now. I've already done the same thing to both the 458 and the SLS, so let's try the 458 now. Just do the same thing with every car. What you need to do is you need to add the wheel colliders and put the wheel meshes accordingly, and then what you do is you add the script, the main car object, in this way, and let's click on play now. I think I double clicked it, so yeah, I double clicked it, and there it is, the 458 racing through the someplace vast. Okay, there it is. It kind of has a drift to it, and oof, that was good. Now in the advanced script, I think I might have coded in the whole skid sound and smoke effect. I'm not sure. I was actually working on the advanced script when the whole exams came up, so I couldn't really complete it, but I'll put a link anyway, so in case you can improve it, please do so, and let me know in the comments below in case you have done anything good, improved it. I would love to read about that. Anyway, so now what we have here is the basic game, but if you look over here, you have the go back button. But now in the last tutorials, if you have seen the last, we had a little problem where when you go back and load the game again, the whole data implementer does not work. So I'll show you why that happens right now. So let's go over to the scene, which is the car selection menu, and click on play. Now let me select a car which I want. I'll paint this red. Okay, not too much red. And click on new game. So there it is, red Ferrari. And now if I click on go back and start the game with an R8, you find that the Ferrari does not change. Now why this happens is because if you look over here, you get 2 data handlers. Now you don't want 2 data handlers. When you go back, you want one of these data handlers to be deleted. So for that, let's create a new script. Let's go back to the game and we'll create a new script. Tell you what, we'll add this part of the script to the level loader script. So what we'll do is we'll type in public void delete data handler. Damn it. And what we'll do is we'll game object dot find data handler. By the way, this thing I'm using is called Notepad++. Do check it out. It's not as good as what was it called, MonoDevelop. Yeah, it's not as good as MonoDevelop when it comes to Unity, but it's pretty good. I mean, it's actually very good for almost all kinds of coding. So this is the best kind of notepad out there. Do check it out. Anyways, what we'll do is we'll delete this. So I'm not sure if delete is the word, because as in MonoDevelop this does not give you suggestions. So let's just try writing this. Let's see if there is something called delete. Delete is not there. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll add a variable called, we'll add a game object called data handler over here equals find, game object dot find. We'll just copy this over here. There. Now what we'll do is we'll do the destroy data handler. There, that should do it. Now let's try going to Unity. Okay, there it is. So let's head back to Unity exception. Okay, damn it. Not sure if this script will return an error. Let's check it out. So car selection menu. Okay, find can only be called from. Okay, so this is where we did something stupid. I should have assigned this in the start. I thought this was the start actually. That was stupid. Anyway, so this should do it. Let's try. We'll go back over to the game. Okay, so just clear this up. Now what we'll do is when you click on the go back button, we'll add a new function to this, and we'll add the level loader dot delete data handler function to it. Now let's try going back to the car selection menu. Save this and test it out. So there it is. There's a lot of cars in here. Let's try this. Okay, there's SLS. Okay, why is this not moving? I'm not sure why that is not moving, but we'll find it out. Okay, let's try the red Ferrari. Okay, there it is. As you can see, it works perfectly fine now. Okay, there it is. Now let's try it with the R8. R8. Where's R8? Okay, why is R8 not coming? Okay, I think we kind of messed something up in the car selection scene. So let me just quickly look it out. So R8 loads load 458. See, this is where I kind of did something stupid. Car selector load R8. Okay, there. I don't think that would be a problem in your script because you are probably have done it correct. So anyways, now to try it out with the R8 white. New game. There it is. The very cool R8. Go back. Try it with the 458. New game. There it is. The cool 458. Go back. But what I have noticed is that the R8 and SLS does not move. So let me just quickly look what's wrong with both of them. So It shouldn't have had any problems, so let's try it out again. Okay, see, there it is. It's moving perfectly fine. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll disable all of these cars so that it works perfectly. And what we'll also do is when you click on back, you'll also find each of these cars. Game object 458, game object R8. Damn it. Alright, so let's F458, good. And game object SLS. Now when you click on back, you also turn off, disable dot set active false, SLS dot set active false, and R8 dot set active false. Okay, so this is to ensure that no trace of the previous car remains when you go back to the car selection menu and select a new car. So this should work perfectly fine now. Let's try doing it from the main menu. Now this will probably be the last tutorial on this whole car game series. So the next will most probably be something on C# coding, and I'll also be looking into Unity later on. Also, for those of you who are using the older versions of Unity below 5, something like 4 or 3 maybe, if you go over to the view colliders, you find that these values are very different. So in the Unity 5, these values are actually pretty accurate and they provide very good results. So in case you want any of these values, you want to copy any of these values, I'll leave a link to that too in the description below, so do check that out. So as I was saying, let's try it from the main menu. Hopefully it works, because if it does not, I'll end up looking like a big idiot. So new game. There that car is. So let's try putting it. Okay, so the colors are not changed. Oh, okay, so that's what this error is about. I think we might have messed up the whole R8's color materials too. So you haven't done that. I'm pretty sure you haven't done that, but I have. And how do I change this materials? Color selector, damn it. Color selector, color cell, 0, size current object is 0. So anyways, I think I have done something wrong somewhere in this color selector object, but not to worry, it doesn't make much difference, I'm pretty sure. So anyways, thanks for watching guys. Do check out my channel later on so that you get updated in case anything more tutorials was to come. As you can see, this works pretty good for now. The whole main menu is there, car selector menu is there, you can select the color, and the game works fine. So what you can do now is you can add tracks and stuff to your main game. So maybe we'll look at how you can create a lap system later on, and maybe we'll even look at the whole AI opponent stuff. So anyways, that is for today's tutorial. Thank you for watching. I know it's been a really long time since the last tutorial. It's because of the whole exams were going on, so I couldn't really get to Unity. But thank you for watching guys. I'll see you again in the next tutorial. See you later.